Of allegiance.
Already standing?
That's exactly right.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pastor Baxter, would you like us standing, seated?
No, maybe stay standing. So Sean, put this in there. I guess I could get it out. Okay. Greetings to everyone, leaders, friends, and fellow citizens of Riverhead. I just want to preface this prayer by saying I'm certainly glad for the opportunity once again to represent the Riverhead Clergy Council to share a prayerful, reflective moment with the town board and citizens from our various faith traditions and perspectives. As we're a year or so into this, and I think different clergy and church and synagogue leaders are doing this. We're very glad for that. I believe we're united in our belief in a God who calls us all to live and work together for the creation of a safe, just, and peaceful society. And we certainly thank those of you who are in community leadership roles for your dedication to the well-being of all people in this community and region. So let us pray. Gracious and loving God, creator of this amazing universe and giver of all life, including the rich but fragile network of life on this planet. Thank you that you have given us human creatures the ability to organize ourselves into communities for the mutual security and benefit of one another. Thank you for community leaders, supervisors, and town board members who are willing to spend their time and energy wrestling with community issues and situations that don't always have easy solutions. May there be a reassuring sense of your spirit of grace and power as they meet today to deliberate over the business before them. And thank you for the citizens here who are willing to come to town board meetings to bring their concerns and share in these discussions. Give us all the capacity to listen to one another, to take to heart the needs of all of our townspeople, men, women, and children, especially those who continue to struggle in these challenging economic times. Show us how to live in harmony with the beautiful natural surroundings of the river, the bay, the sound, the ocean, the forest, the farmlands, the town, and the villages of Riverhead, and with neighboring towns and in our region. We see it all as a gift from you, Lord. Guide us all in our use of our resources, in the renewal of our downtown, in the education of our children, in the health and safety of our people. Bless each member of this leadership team and our whole community with vision, with wisdom, with courage and compassion as we seek together to serve the people and to protect the natural resources of Riverhead and the East End of Long Island. We give you all the praise and the glory for the good work that you empower us to do, loving God. And might we all say, hear our prayers, O Lord. Amen. Thank you very much.
Pastor Baxter, thank you very much. Pastor Baxter is from Old Steeple Church in Aquabog, and we really appreciate you taking your time out, and thank you. You're the president of the Clergy Council, if I'm not mistaken.
I am trying to pass that along, but yes.
You have to wait till somebody's not there at the meeting and you nominate that person.
Thanks for that advice.
But they do a great job, and they coordinate this, the invocation, so thank you.
Rabbi Siebert is really the one who coordinates.
Actually, that's right. Rabbi Siebert does a fantastic job.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. All right. Yes. Okay. We've got a couple announcements, but we're going to bring, we have Coco here, but do we have Dr. Vitosh back there? I don't have my glasses on. Oh, there you are. Why don't Dr. Vitosh and Dr. Rothman, is Dr. Rothman here as well? Well, we're going to bring you both up with Coco. So why don't you bring Coco in, and we're going to do all this at one. No, Coco. No, you're going to come up. We're going to.
Doc isn't going to be here. He said for a minute. All right, one star.
Yeah, well, we're. What? I guess we should get the. So what we do is at every board meeting that's in the afternoon, we try to bring one of our animals in to adopt. This is Coco, and I know you told me American. Go ahead.
American Staffordshire Terrier mixed with Boxer.
And that's a fine-looking dog. So I'm thinking there's somebody in the audience here. Look at that dog. That's a beautiful dog. I think there's somebody in the audience there. Look, he sat right down. She sat right down. Very friendly. So we're doing our best to try to get Coco adopted. So if anybody's interested, contact the Riverhead Animal Shelter. Jim, what's that phone number?
369 618.
6189 369 6189. And Dr. Rothman's not here, so I guess we'll wait. We'll wait a minute because we've got a couple other things to do. We'll go back to the dais, and we'll be right back to you, Dr. Vitosh. Thank you. Coco's been there over a year. Wow. Okay, so what I'm going to say about Coco is a good dog, and Coco's been in the animal shelter for over a year, and that doesn't make sense because that seemed like a really good dog to me. So if anybody's hearing the sound of my voice that wants to adopt a dog, that's a good-looking. I mean, that's a friendly dog. That's amazing. So two more announcements. The first is there's a Riverhead resident, Alfred Gross Claus Jr., son of Noreen Gross Claus, was shot in a firefight overseas, and he's back in the States. And I'm reading this. Well, I read it before. He's back in the States. He had a bullet. They had to perform surgery to remove a bullet. It entered through his lower back, hit his spine, went through his colon, and lodged in his left hip. They operated on him and to repair his wounds. According to the email, he's obviously been very lucky, and there's a good chance, according to the email, that he's going to make a full recovery. This happened in Helmand Providence region of Afghanistan, and so our prayers go out to the Gross Claus family that he make a speedy recovery. And then I spoke to Councilman John Dunleavy. As many of you know, Councilman Dunleavy had a minor heart attack, I guess about 2 weeks ago, maybe a little bit longer than 2 weeks ago, and he is doing well. He's at home. He's, if he were here, he'd be working. He had a couple stents put in. He's expected, I think, to go through some heart, I guess it's heart rehabilitation or something like that, and we expect him back at work and to make a full recovery, but he's in our prayers as well. So now we're going to go down and see Dr. Rothman and Dr. Vitosh. Come on up, guys.
Good stool.
I can't get water.
Why, you're skinny.
Yeah, get water. I gotta get the microphone. I should take the portable one. So Dr. Vitosh and Dr. Rothman are from East End. I have to say it right. East End is it? Veterinarian care. I was going to say East End medical care. East End veterinarian care. And they're right on Route 58, on the north side of Route 58, right behind the Fidelity National Title Building. And they are doing a fantastic job. I mean, I've said this before. I have an animal that had to have a leg amputated, and they took care of it, and the animal is just amazing. It's a cat, amazing. They do an amazing job. And not too long ago, we had some bad press, mostly due, in certain instances, certain wildlife that's got distemper and things like that have to be put down. And there's not any good way to do this, but sometimes it has to be done. And the most humane way is to bring it to a veterinarian clinic. And they have agreed for us to take the animals that can be transported there to put them down humanely. And they've also donated $2,500 in medical service to our shelter dogs. So the town board and I would like to honor you. And Jim, here, you're the liaison, so take a quick read of those things. We'd like to reward you in the only way that we really can, and that is through the offering of certificates of appreciation. And I know Jim's our animal liaison.
I certainly appreciate. I'm not going to read these only for two reasons. One, they're pretty staple, and two, I don't have my glasses. So, but we certainly appreciate the services you provide to Riverhead. The Riverhead Shelter has always tried to be a great municipal shelter. We've got a lot of caring people up there that work, but sometimes with budget constraints and stuff, we need people to come and help us. And your professionalism and courtesy and your ability to come and help us out really means a lot to us as a town and also as a community shelter. So we appreciate that.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So, thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Take care, gentlemen. Thank you for coming out today. I'm at a loss because Councilman Dunleavy always moves the minutes of the town board meetings. So, Jim, can...
I certainly can. I'd like to move the minutes for the June 14th town board meeting be approved. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
The minutes are approved.
Okay, can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
Tom? Maybe no song. I just want to say, to anybody, I think this is working, but, this past weekend on Sunday, we had the fireworks down along the riverfront. And if you had a chance to come down, it was probably one of the best events. Last year was great. This year was phenomenal. It started, the weather held off, it was perfect. We had 3 bands play, we had the fireworks, we had concessions. It was an absolute, we had about 4,000 people there this weekend. And I think we're the only game in town on the East End because West Hampton pooped out on us. They were afraid of the weather, but it was a great time. So you had a chance to come down, make sure you get there next year. And Riverhead bid threw that on. We'd like to thank Ray Pickeskill for his efforts there also. So.
Robert James Salond, if you're not getting your hair cut there, I don't know where you're going. Sorry. He does such a good job.
I do not go to Robert James.
I can tell. And why would you?
That's right.
All right, Diane, applications.
Sure. Under applications, we received a request from Long Island Antique Power Association for July 16th and 17th at Halleck Village in Jamesport. Herritt Point Civic Association, they are having an event on July 9th at Herritt Point Road. Under special events, the Riverhead Fire Department is having their 25th annual motorized drill July 16th. Apple Honda submitted an application for tent sales July 27th through September 14th. Martha Clara Vineyards submitted for a tent July 22nd through September 23rd. Also from Martha Clara Vineyards, Oktoberfest, September 10th and 11th. Peconic Bay Medical Center is having a carnival with fireworks August 18th through the 21st, Route 25A in Wading River. Riverhead Foundation for Marine Research and Preservation, they're having their 5K run for the Ridley October 22nd. Under reports, tax receiver, total tax collection data June 20th, $122,671,283.60. Town clerk monthly report for June, $11,815.15. Building department monthly report for June, $56,497.50. Sewer department submitted their discharge monitoring report for May. Police department submitted their monthly report for May. Under correspondence, a letter from Jim McQueen thanking water department for their work on a water meter cover. Mark Stashikevich a letter noticing the town of damaged sidewalk at 327 Hamilton Avenue in Riverhead. And I think that's it.
All right, any other committee reports? No? Public hearings, we have 3 public hearings. The first one starts at 2:05 p.m. And this is the consideration of a proposed local law to amend Chapter 108 of the Riverhead Town entitled Zoning, Subdivision Regulations, Site Plan Review. And Bob, I don't, do you have that one in front of you? And
Well, I know of it.
Any of them.
This is, what we're looking to do is reduce the amount of per lot fees on subdivision applications from $5,000 to $3,000. It would apply for minor subdivisions, major subdivisions, and the site plans under 130, subsection D, where the park and rec fees are laid out. Due to the further development, there's always a need for recreational facilities, and in those instances where the planning board deems it in the best interests of the residents of the town, they can require a individual developing land to deposit a per lot fee instead of creating a recreational area due to downward market values in the cost per land, and also I think to hopefully stimulate further development. The board is proposing to go across the board and reduce the amount of per lot fees to $3,000 per lot. And we had an earlier resolution this year where we did this for the major subdivision applications only. That particular legislation was adopted on March 15th. So the concept here is to make all per lot fees applicable as of that date, which was March 15th of 2011. Where either final subdivision for major subdivision approval or minor subdivision approval receives its plat approval. So if it had plat approval prior to March 15th, 2011, the per lot fee would not be applicable. It'd be a $5,000 fee for those prior to that date.
okay, does anybody wish to be heard on this matter? Yes, Mr. Cuddy.
I just wanted to be of record to commend the board for doing this. I point out to you that every buyer of a subdivision lot pays approximately $12,000, meaning that that's passed on to that buyer from the developer. And those fees include the rec fee, they include a water tap fee, they include an engineering fee and filing fees. So by breaking down or at least reducing $2,000, you're helping those people that are buying. And those same people also pay $4,000 to $5,000 for the Peconic Bay tax. So you're talking about a newcomer to town paying $15,000, $17,000 that's passed on through the builder, and it's really important that you do reduce it, and I thank you for doing that.
Thank you, sir. Sal Mastropolo? Sal, if you could, we have to swear you. No, we don't have to swear you. No.
That's only
Sorry.
for special permit.
Yeah, keep doing that.
Sal Mastropolo, Calverton. I'm a little confused, okay? Bob mentioned that this is to stimulate further development. I was under the impression we don't want further development in the town of Riverhead.
Sal, what we're trying to do is these subdivisions, these regulations, or the per lot fee was $2,000 and it went to $5,000. And the rationale that was used, there has to be a nexus between what you're charging and what you're collecting in fees. And the rationale that was used was that with the escalating market rates of property, it costs us that much more to acquire land to build these parks, which we do, and we have pocket parks in different areas of the town. Well, if you're using that rationale, you want to, when you have a declining market and there's nobody out there that doesn't know the real estate market decline, you want to have the commensurate decline in the fee. And I'm not going to say it's to spur economic development. What I'm going to say is exactly Mr. Cuddy put it eloquently. People are hurting out there. We want to stimulate home ownership at all levels. And if we're taxing somebody, and apparently we are to the tune of $12,000 in these subdivisions, that's not helping the economy. So, this is all part of stimulating the economy.
Okay, two things. One is the price of homes in Riverhead is far less than any of the surrounding areas. So we're still the cheapest as far as home purchases. Okay, people are coming from the west to come out to Riverhead because of the prices. Okay,
Not in the
the other
last couple
thing
of,
is,
not in the last couple of years.
well, I'll tell you what, do a survey of the people that are buying in the town of Riverhead and find out where they came from. Okay, I bet you a lot of
No,
them are coming
what
from
I'm-
Nassau County
What I'm,
because the price
Sal, what
is
I'm
right
saying
out
is
here.
the demand in Riverhead has fallen
Well,
off.
demand is down all over.
Right.
Okay. All right.
And
the other
we're,
thing
we're
is
trying to promote home ownership.
the other thing is supply and demand causes prices to go up. Okay, a lack of supply causes prices to go up, and the amount of developable land in the town of Riverhead is going down, not up. Okay, so the price should stay the same. Okay, because the price of an acre is going to hold steady.
I disagree with you, but
Well,
that's...
we disagree the last time we discussed this.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I just also want to point out that this went before the Recreation Advisory Committee, who, they're caretakers of this money, and they spend it, and they were fine with it. I think the fees actually went from 2,000 to 3 to 5, and now they're back to 3. To reflect, like you say, it reflects the land values. So.
We had a lot of approved site plans and approved applications that people were not submitting the fees and moving forward with development because the fees were so great. Shortly after we adopted this resolution, we started getting the checks and the fees in from the developers that are now moving forward with their projects. So they're paying the fees.
Let me ask a question.
They never paid them before. They had approvals
Okay.
and they
If
wouldn't
they
pay
weren't
'em.
submitting the fees, then why were we giving them approval? If one of the contingencies of
Because-
getting approval is paying the fees, whether the fees are $3,000 or $5,000, those fees were due.
Because they're not due until they actually want to construct. They get their approvals ahead of time. They are given a list of fees that they have to pay. They have to pay those fees before they begin construction.
Okay, did we allow construction to begin if we never received the fees?
No.
That was the implication that you just made.
No, we don't allow them to build unless the fees are paid. They have to pay the fees before they can get their building permits.
Okay.
Okay, does anybody else wish to be heard on the matter?
I still think most people come to Riverhead because it's a beautiful, beautiful town. It's not just because we have cheap homes.
I would agree. If nobody else wishes to be heard, we're going to leave this open. We'll do it for 9 days. As the 16th, that's a Friday, right? 10 days?
Yes, I think you're right.
16, no, Friday 15th, the 15th, July 15th, 9 days, right? I'm thinking today's Tuesday and it's
15th is
Wednesday.
Friday.
The 15th, so we'll leave this open till July 15th at 4:30 for written comment in the town clerk's office. Okay, we have another public hearing that was scheduled for 2:05, and since 2:05 has come and gone, Bob, I don't have this again,
Yes,
but...
this one's real easy. This one is part of an outgrowth from the Code Revision Committee. What we're doing is an across-the-board bump up. Currently, we allow one accessory structure, not more than 100 square feet, without requirement of a building permit. We're going to change the 100 square feet to 144 square feet across the board in the residential zoning districts and the districts that allow for an accessory structure, i.e. a shed, gazebo, one accessory structure, so that you will not be required to submit to or apply for a building permit if you have one structure that's now less than 144 square feet as opposed to previously 100 square feet. This is also in conjunction with what I understand to be a New York State Building Code recommendation, so we're trying to be consistent with what the state code provides for.
Okay, does anybody wish to be heard on this? Not seeing anybody. We'll close the public comment portion, leave it open for written comments until July 15th at 4:30 in the town clerk's office. 2:10 having arrived, the third public hearing is a consideration of a special use permit application of vertical line apparel to allow as a principal use an existing outdoor sports facility at EPCAL. Mr. Danowski.
Good afternoon. I have handed up to the town clerk the notice of posting and the notice of certified mailing I have also, rather than bore you at the microphone, handed up a copy of the town code provisions regarding factors to be considered in a special permit and also factors to be listed in an approval, and have addressed those in writing. I would say this is a somewhat unusual application in the sense we're not seeking to build anything by this application. As noted in my application, which was filed several months ago, an athletic outdoor field exists at the site at the EPCAL location. My client owns several subdivision lots that have been actually created as subdivision lots in recent times. And the athletic field was permitted by a town board resolution in the year 2006. That application was limited as to use for the business owner and his employees. That was consistent with a view of the town code that said that this was an accessory use. And so a site plan was approved, the field was built, and we're at a stage now where the Sportsplex community, if I could call it that, which is located on another lot with an indoor facility, is doing very well in business, and we'd like to use the same field and not limit the use to just the business owner or his employees. Many of the kids in our local community come to play in the indoor games, both lacrosse and soccer, and they'd like the opportunity to use the outdoor field as well. So the special permit application, which has been reviewed in a different way for the site plan purpose several years ago, would need a special use to remove the restriction that limits the use of the ball field to only employees or the owner. So with that comment made, I would like to think that this board could consider an approval resolution before summer is over. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Danowski. Does anybody else wish to be heard on this matter? Yes, sir. Now we swear him in, right?
Yes.
Sir, if you could
How you
just...
doing? I'm Steven Scopolidis from Evil Foods, Loudest Calverton, right across the street from Vertical Line.
We're going to swear you in if you don't mind.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to raise your right hand. Repeat after me. Do you solemnly swear to tell the whole truth, and the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. Anyway, we're right across the street, and we have no problem with them having their lacrosse games or whatever they're doing there, as long as they don't park on our side of the street. Because one time when they had they had a fair, all the cars were parked on our side. It was garbage all over on our parking lots. So they could do whatever they want, as long as they know there's no parking on our side of the road.
Yes, well, you know what, that's an interesting point, because I believe that he would be subject to site plan review because he's changing the use, and it's not going to be for only the employees, it's going to be open to the public. So that opens up,
Parking is
all
right,
new
'cause there's no
discussion
parking on
and
this side of the
parking
road,
and
right.
things of that nature, so.
Okay.
Was that as a result of a special event that the parking problem?
A couple weeks ago, they had a big lacrosse game. I think that I don't know what they were doing, but
Like
they
a
all
tournament?
parked, whatever they're doing. And they're parked on our side of the field. And when they left, there's all garbage and cans and bottles on our side of the road.
Well, we can condition Mr. Danowski, any approval, I guess, could be conditioned on the requirement to police yourselves.
I have no problem addressing at the microphone.
Yeah.
I want the man to finish. Certainly, we don't want to park on his property and won't do that. We certainly will police it. I don't understand the position yet of the road systems. I think they're on the way to being dedicated as far as Berman Boulevard and whatever, or maybe not.
We would hope.
So I have no problems in one, self-policing, and two, certainly not parking on this gentleman's property. Absolutely not a problem.
Yeah.
We're just looking to, in tough economic times, this is a use that seems to have caught on amongst our youth, and everyone seems to be loving playing indoors and likes to spread it out to the outdoor game. And I'm thinking it's a plus for everyone, but I'm mindful of the comments. I appreciate them, and we don't have a problem with his comments.
Stephen, I'm sorry, I didn't write down your last name.
Scopolidis.
How do you spell that?
Scopolitis.
Mr. Scopolidis, if we condition any approval on the requirement that they police, which they have to anyway, the road ultimately will be a public road, so they should be able to park on either side unless the town board makes a determination not to. Is that...
It's not, How many parking spaces exist on site, Peter?
There's 43 on this particular lot, plus there's a number of parking places totaling, I think, 102. We haven't found a need for, a large number of people during the week. During the week, I think, at tops, during the outdoor part of the use, I think there'll probably be maybe 50 people because most of the people will be playing in the early evening hours. Weekends will be busier because it'll be running in and out with various games. People coming, then leaving, and other parents coming in, dropping off kids and young folks coming around. So parking has never been, doesn't appear to be a problem, and we're willing to obviously say don't park on anyone else's property. We'll only park on our own. But it really it hasn't been an issue. We'd like it to be so successful that someone might say it is an issue.
Right.
We're thinking we're succeeding in a business with our youth, and we're hoping to be more and more popular all the time. So if you're a lacrosse fan or soccer fan, I think this is a great location.
And there's also ample room to the south of the field.
Yeah, we
the
own
outdoor fields, that if you
several
needed to
several
create
of
more
the
parking.
subdivision lots with the existing buildings on them. We're not looking to construct anything as far as the field is concerned. So, I don't think it's an issue.
Very good, yeah, because I don't know that parking on the streets would be a good idea in an industrial subdivision when you have tractor trailers going both ways down that road.
Well, as long as you have us on record that we stayed what we just stayed, and we're willing to release it, we'll see what happens from there. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anybody else wish to be heard on the matter? Not seeing anybody, we'll close the public comment portion and leave it open for written comment until June 15th in the town clerk's office. Thank you for everybody coming. We're going to go to resolutions. Do we have anybody that wants to comment on individual resolutions?
$513.
Welcome back, by the way.
Thanks. The fourth whereas, I think you have two typos. The second line, have submitted, and indicating a total of 100 cubic yards. And then the first resolved, the second line, doesn't make any sense from the word permit fees concurrently the building permit when issued. I don't know what they were trying to say there.
Concurrently with the building permit.
Which resolved, the first?
Yeah, it should be a with.
Concurrently with the building permit fees when submitted, right?
Okay.
Resolution 531. Can you tell me what the max fee was? You're changing it to $100, whichever is greater, or 25% of the original fee. What was the max fee before this change?
It's based on square footage, so it would be 100%. I don't have the square footage, the number per square foot, but each building permit is based on the square footage that's being constructed. So some of them can be very, very steep.
Is there any work involved with a permit renewal other than administrative?
Assigning it a new number and making sure the insurance is current.
That's it.
Pretty much.
Thank you. 534, the first whereas, the second line should be to provide planning services for the purpose of assisting.
So we need.
And take out the before assisting.
Okay.
You have that,
Should-
Diane?
Should the
For
resolution-
purposes of assisting. Right. Okay.
Should the resolution include the maximum cost of the contract? Just in case the contract gets separated from the resolution?
No, because we're going to be governed by the agreement we sign.
Okay.
And it won't get separated because I know what the costs are. I won't sign it unless what happens, Sal, is I get a letter from the town attorney's office saying that this is in conformance with the resolution before I sign anything, so.
Okay, on the professional services agreement, I just offer this up as a comment. Why not take the planning study to the intersection of Route 25 so you include the Inn and Spa, okay, in that study? If you stop at the intersection of Sound Avenue, you haven't included the Inn and Spa, okay, or the land that he's proposing to build on, right? Because it says here,
No, it probably should go.
to
wait
the
a minute.
westerly end to Sound Avenue at the easterly end. Well, if you stop at Sound Avenue, you haven't included the land behind the beverage place, which is
Right.
where he proposes to build the square. So you haven't taken it far enough, so why not just take it to 25 and include that whole section?
I would rather take it to
Maybe just
Hulse, because Hulse Landing's the last really commercially viable.
All right, then take it to Hulse Landing, but at least include the land that Kenny Barrow wants to build on.
You know, I agree.
On the very next page...
Okay, so wait a minute, so,
So we're going to remove Sound Avenue and make that Holst Landing Road. Talking about on paragraph 1, scope of services, correct, Sal? On the PSA?
Witnesses, yeah.
Yeah, scope of services.
Okay.
Is he going to charge us additional money other than what we discussed in work session to extend it all the way down to Holst Landing
not if
Road?
he wants to do the job. Wesley and,
And it's going to have to come out in the beginning where
Yeah, the witness said that.
Yeah.
yeah, it's not gonna matter.
500-foot past the
Yeah.
intersection.
I don't think it's gonna make a difference. We'll, you know what, Sal, we're gonna have to, that's a good catch. Did you see it anyplace else? Because I wanna have Anne Marie Prudenti.
So it's only the two first, it's the first witness and the first scope of services.
Yeah, no, you're right, okay.
Okay, on the very next page, in the second paragraph, where it starts BFJ planning, the fourth line down, I think generally probably should be the word completed. Work completed for invoiced amounts shall be, I guess maybe generally completed plus or minus 10 working days in accordance with said proposal dated April 14th. Doesn't make any sense the way it's written, at least it doesn't to me. Shall be generally plus or minus 10 working days in accordance. Something's missing there.
Something is missing.
Generally completed in accordance, yeah, I agree with you. I'll throw that in, generally completed in accordance with.
You just move it generally up to work generally.
So what I would put is work completed for invoiced amounts shall be generally completed in accordance with.
We usually require the work to be done before it's invoiced. So.
How about work
that
generally?
I would take, shall
that
take
sentence should come
generally
right
out.
Yes,
Okay,
I think.
as long as
Why
it
don't we
makes
just
sense.
take out generally and just put shall be completed? I would take, so it'd be work completed for the invoice shall be completed, I hate to do that, 2 completeds in 1 sentence, in accordance with said proposal dated April 14th, but it, despite the fact I'm using the same word twice.
Why do you have to say completed twice? You say work for invoiced amount shall be completed. plus or
Yep,
minus
you're
10.
right. That's why you never put the same word in the same sentence twice.
That's true.
How's that? Work for invoice amount shall be completed plus or minus 10 working days in accordance with said proposal. That makes more sense.
This says, now therefore be it resolved that the town board accepts and adopts the recommendation of the planning department and declares that a study and plan of Route 25 corridor be deemed a type 2 action pursuant to New York City,
New York Code rules and
New York
regulations.
Code rules and regulations. Do we have a recommendation from the planning department saying that it's a type 2?
My understanding is Anne Marie did speak to him.
I'm sure we do, but we can have, can you get Rick?
Sure.
Tara's doing it. What else you got, Sal?
538, the now therefore be it resolved that the town board, there's a typo there. It says that own board of the town of Riverhead.
Yes, there's a T there. That town board. Capital T there.
Okay.
539, there's no attached code of conduct. Should there be?
I don't know where it is, but we have one.
I don't even think there's a reference, the word attached.
Get that from Anne Marie?
We need a code of conduct for 539. Code of conduct from Anne Marie Prudenti for Resolution 539.
We have it, Tara, somehow it just didn't get on.
Oh, I was gonna say,
Yeah, no, we have it.
You know what, and it really should say the attached.
Right.
It should say the attached because who knows what code of conduct it is. It should be passed with the
Right.
resolution.
Well, the first one says adopts the next,
yeah, it says
the
it
very
on it.
first result. Now therefore be it
Yeah.
resolved that the
Both of
town
them
board
have
hereby
the
adopts
annex or
the
attached.
next.
Okay, so that's fine. We just have to have it, so.
Just need to
Yeah,
get a copy of
they
it.
have it, I guess they
Yeah.
just didn't print it.
Yeah.
All right.
It just didn't get printed.
Can we have somebody from the clerk's office bring it over? So we have it, Sal can see it. What else you got, Sal?
540. Do we really collect cash in the tax receiver's office? I mean, I would think that most people pay by check. I know this is a small amount of money, but
Yeah, no, we do.
Well,
we
yeah.
do take cash. Okay.
Water bills sometimes are $12, $14, so people come in.
And they use a cash counting machine?
Well,
Well,
Gotta be
some
efficient,
people
Sal.
probably come in with thousands of dollars to pay their tax bill. I wouldn't doubt that for a minute, Sal.
Okay.
take it out of the mattress.
What else you got?
543. The benefits package, I'm just going to comment. I consider this discriminatory, okay? I worked in private industry for 30 years, okay? And everybody starts with the same benefits package and the same vacation package. And I don't understand why the vacation schedule is different for legislative and secretarial from middle management.
That's why we're rescinding it.
Okay.
In my opinion, Sal, quite frankly, is this is merit-based, and if you're doing a great job, then that, when we negotiate salaries, you may get something different. If you're not doing a great job, this indicates that you'd automatically get additional things for just being here for a certain period of time. And I don't mean that to be discriminatory, but this doesn't allow us to rank somebody on merit.
Well, let me ask you a question, because your comment about merit-based. I'm specifically concerned with vacations, okay? And vacation shouldn't be merit-based. Salary should be merit-based.
All the
Vacation
same.
is a benefit that you offer everybody before they even get hired. You tell them what your benefits package is. It has nothing to do with merit.
I disagree with you, because it's all money. Whether it's your health insurance, whether it's your vacation, whether it's your sick time, it's all money that the town expends. And when you're negotiating with an employee, giving them an extra week, and here's why it's money. They can buy back their vacation time and turn it into salary.
Okay, let me ask you a question then. I bring an employee in for an annual review, okay? And I don't know how you do it here, but I know how we did it in private business. You review the person's performance on an annual basis, okay? You may take him down a step because he didn't perform that well the previous year, and you tell him,
Correct.
if you don't shape up, you're shipping out, okay? Now, if he's a poor performer, do you take vacation away from him for the next year? No, you may not give him a salary increase, but his vacation is his vacation.
That's not accurate, because this resolution would allow a poor performer to get additional vacation time just because he was here, jumped from 1 year, what's the break, 7 years. After 7 years, he hits his 7 years, all of a sudden he gets 3 weeks vacation, and I can't do anything about it.
I miss your point.
This automatically bestows upon
That's right.
non-union employees additional vacation. So if you have a
When
poor
he
performer.
hits 7 years.
Correct, when you have a poor, so if, suppose you have somebody that's been performing poorly, why
It
would I
should
give him
be-
additional vacation? Because here's the thing, Sal, a lot of these people have civil service protection because they originally come from the union, or they take, the department heads have civil service protection because they take tests. And so trying to, it's not like the private sector where you can actually dismiss somebody. So you have very few tools in your bag to, offer.
Okay. I guess then we agree to disagree because I disagree with you. Okay.
Okay, that's
It's
fine.
not consistent with private business, and I just don't understand how vacation can be tied to performance.
Vacation, in private business, can you buy your vacation time back for cash?
No, most cases, it used to be when we first started that you can carry them over from year to year with a maximum over X number of years.
Right.
And then once the industry changed and the financial climate changed, then the company started saying you will take vacation every year or you lose it.
Right, well,
Okay.
we are, I don't want to say stuck, but most of the contracts that we have, not only do they get to carry it over year to year, they get to cash it out. So if you give somebody an additional week vacation, that's the equivalent of giving them an additional week's salary in a lot of cases.
Okay, then you should, okay.
That's
I
why,
hope-
that's why I don't want to give it automatically. I want to have the opportunity to look at it. I
Yeah.
agree, everyone should be treated the same, but you're not treating somebody that's performing really well the same with somebody that's performing poorly if you automatically just give it to them.
Okay, then I hope an individual's performance plan clearly states that the amount of vacation he receives will be tied to his performance rating. Otherwise, you're leaving yourself open to a lot
I
of
agree with you.
problems. Okay. 546. Where you started adding in the new stuff. So it's like the fourth page down. A is pre-submission conference. Okay, B is preliminary site plan application. I think you have a contradiction between 1 and 2. Okay? It says, in number 1, it says, subsequent to the pre-submission conference, an application for preliminary site plan approval shall be made on the form for the same provided by the planning department. Subsequent to me means before, right? Look at number 2. The preliminary site plan shall be submitted to the planning department within 6 months of the pre-submission conference. Within 6 months can also mean after it.
You're right.
So you're contradicting yourself in 1 and 2.
We should just take out subsequent to the pre-submission conference and just leave it as an application for preliminary site plan approval shall be made on the form for the same provided by the planning department.
What I'm going to do, because I don't want to do this, is there more comments to this? Jill, are you here?
Yes, I'm ready.
Are there more comments to this?
To this particular thing?
Yeah.
No, that was my
All
only
right,
comment,
before
I
you-
think.
We don't have a lot of time, but.
Oh,
Jill-
no, I have a couple more on the very last page.
And also, I saw, because this is,
One conversation. What's the other?
Okay, on the very last page, okay, F1B. I don't know if you're using a term that I don't understand, but it says grading and site improvements prior to the first lift of paving. Is that a building term or is...
I think what was trying to be accomplished is a timetable for when inspections would occur. And what happens is before the actual pavement gets laid down, there's a grading in the curbing and the other improvements that are put in before that lift is installed, the first lift of asphalt.
Okay, so that's a
your
technical
base
term,
coat.
lift. Okay.
Right.
Then that's what I said. I wasn't sure if it was a term
Probably
that I
should
was not
say-
familiar
it
with.
probably
Sal,
should
we're gonna
say
table this.
It should say, instead of a lift, it should say
Application?
course, or asphalt course, or base course, or something like
Okay.
that, which would probably be easier to understand.
We're going to make a motion to table.
You must
this.
have
I'm
been
not gonna
working
do
on this till
from-
midnight
Okay,
last night
one more-
because
I just got this at 1 o'clock today, so I ain't-
One more comment on this. On G, under fees, item 2. It says, in no instance shall a site plan review exceed $30,000. Okay? I find it hard to believe that you're going to set a limit, okay, particularly when you get a project like the Home Depot project, okay, or the
Is this
well,
in the
Lowe's
existing
isn't
code?
as bad as the Home Depot. I was going to say Lowe's, but Lowe's is going to be a single building, I'm assuming.
Is this in our existing code?
Yeah.
It's in our existing code. This has to come back to the town board. We're going to
Okay.
table it, come to the work session.
There is a cap of 30.
Right.
That's not new.
No.
What else do you have?
That's it.
Okay,
Thank you.
Does anybody else wish to be heard on the resolutions? Hey, Marty.
Just pass this up, this material I'm going to refer to when mentioned. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Martin Sonleski, Calverton. I have a couple of questions with regard to Resolution 534, which is the 25A corridor study. From what I've read in the paper, I understand that that's the intent of that is to relook at the uses and the development of the corridor in Wading River. I live in Calverton, in the hamlet of Calverton. If you're going to study Wading River, presumably that would push development further east. So presumably pushing it to Calverton, eventually Aquabog or Jamesport.
Actually, I would think that's the opposite, because if you look at the zoning you have in Aquabog and some of Jamesport, it's it's antique zoning. I mean, you really have no uses.
Yeah, but that's the point. You have to look at the zoning in those areas. If you're going to look at one hamlet, I think you have to look at the other hamlets and see what the effect is going to be if you change the uses in one hamlet. Then should you look at the uses in the other hamlet? Just exactly what you said. You said it's very restrictive in Aquabog and Jamesport. Well, if it's going to get more restrictive in Wading River, then maybe it should get less restrictive in those other areas. My point is, I would like to request that you study all 4 hamlets, which would, instead of costing $42,000, would probably cost a couple of $100,000. I understand that, but how would you not study those areas and only study one area? All of that was determined. The uses, the ultimate growth and build out of Riverhead was determined as part of the master plan. So how do you go back and look at just one piece and study that without studying the other areas? How is that justified?
The way it's been done, Wading River had a hamlet study in 1979, 1980.
89.
89 rather. You can look at a specific hamlet. There's nothing wrong with looking at a specific hamlet.
Okay, I just then want to point to one other item, and I highlighted some of the provisions of SECRA. I looked at the resolution. It says it's a Type 2 action. I think that's incorrect. I think it's actually a Type 1 action, undertaking the study. Under Section 617.1, under the intent and purpose, it says that the basic purpose of SECRA is to incorporate consideration of environmental factors into the existing planning, review, decision-making process of state, regional, local government agencies at the earliest time possible. To accomplish this goal, SECRA requires that all agencies determine whether actions they undertake, fund, or approve may have a significant impact on the environment. And it is determined that the action, if it does have a significant impact, prepare an environmental impact study. So what they're saying is that if you're going to undertake an action that may have an environmental impact, you have to do an environmental study. This is clearly an action. When you look at the second page, you're undertaking a review of the uses in that area. Under item 2, it says agency planning and policy making activities that may affect the environment and commit the agency to a definite course of future decisions. So if you're going to study Wading River and it's going to change the uses in Wading River, potentially it may affect your future decisions that affect the rest of the town in terms of tax base, uses, etc. As you go on to the next section of SEQR, which is under definitions, and this is really important, and there is case law that supports this. There have been determinations made by the DEC.
Where's Rick? Okay, can you make sure he's back in here?
One of the important issues, and this has been found under some of the case law with the DEC, is that the definition of environment, this is right under the definition section of SEQR. Environment means the physical conditions that will be affected by a proposed action, including existing patterns of population concentration, distribution, or growth. The growth pattern in the town of Riverhead for the future of Riverhead has been defined as part of the master plan, okay, which supersedes the previous Hamlet study. So the master plan determined how Riverhead was going to ultimately build out. Okay, so therefore that is an environmental concern. If you tinker with that, it's going to change environmental concerns in the rest of the town, including tax base and the pressures for growth elsewhere. Under the, I'll skip the part about the general rules issues that I highlighted here, but you may want to just touch base with them. I did note on the next page that it talks that a type 2 action doesn't require an environmental review, and you have this listed as a type 2 in the information outside. However, directly below that, on item G, this is from SEQR, it says, actions commonly consist of a set of activities or steps. The entire set of activities or steps must be considered the action, whether the agency decision-making relates to the action as a whole or only a part of it. And sub-item 1, considering only a part or a segment of an action. Now, you're going back and looking at things that were determined as part of the master plan, is contrary to the intent of SEQR. So I don't know how you are going to look to review one hamlet and look at the uses there that were determined as part of the master plan, which is designed to direct the ultimate build-out of Riverhead without looking at the other hamlets. On 617.5, type 2 actions, and this is where I think you're wrong that this is a type 2 action. It says each of the agency actions on an agency's type 2 list must, it doesn't say, it says they must do this. Item 1, in no case have a significant adverse impact on the environment based on the criteria contained in subsection 617.7C. Now, if you go to 617.7C and you go to item 1, it says, these criteria are considered indicators of significant adverse impacts on the environment. The next page, Roman numeral 4, the creation of a material conflict with a community's current plans or goals as officially approved or adopted. That's the master plan. So if you're going to go and review this, right here it says if it's in conflict with existing adopted goals, that's the master plan. It's a type 1 action. So I think that this is not a type 2 action, and I think it could be subject to a challenge, and I think you should really not undertake this unless you were to undertake a review of all the hamlets and then go back and revisit the master plan as a whole, you know, for the benefit of the entire town.
We've taken this into consideration. We've spoken to our attorneys. We've spoken to the planners, and the people that do this exclusively for a living disagree with you, but we thank you.
Okay.
I did look at this very, very hard, Marty, and actually, what's not in your papers, which are very well put together, the type 2 action under 617.5 C18, which is what we're looking at, says information collection, including basic data collection and research, water quality, pollution studies, traffic counts, engineering studies, surveys, subsurface investigations, and soil studies that do not commit the agency to undertake, fund, or approve any type 1 or unlisted action. And basically what this is just that. It's just a planning study.
That doesn't refer to planning studies, though, and it doesn't refer to the master plan. I think
Yeah, you have to speak from the microphone, Marty.
Okay.
I will just highlight one thing one more time, and then I'll sit down.
What is your experience with SECRA, Marty?
Excuse me?
What is your experience with SECRA? Have you taken?
Well, I deal with it all the time in my business in getting projects approved, and I also maintain my continuing education by going to secret conferences and seminars based on. It's a very good learning experience. It applies to my business directly. So I typically go to a secret conference once a year. I would just again note that. What it says, again, just going back to the type 2 list, in no case, have a significant adverse impact on the environment based on the criteria contained in subdivision 617.7C of this part. And you go to 617.7C, Roman numeral 4, and it says the creation of a material conflict with a community's current plans or goals as officially approved or adopted. That's the master plan. So
Actually, Marty, there's a huge, when you read the master plan and you read the town's adopted zoning, there is a huge disconnect, huge. So that's not a place you want to be relying on. The
okay,
zoning
I'm
does not
just
match
reading right out
the
of
master
secret.
plan.
According to what we're reading here, I would assume that this will be in conflict to the established master plan, and therefore it's going to create material conflict.
The words are material conflict, not just conflict, under that Roman numeral 4. So it's not just a conflict with an adopted plan,
Right.
it's material conflict.
That's correct.
And there's nothing that's indicated at this stage with this respective study that leads one to conclude that. So I
But
think
if it
that's
were to
part of
change any of the uses in that area, then it would be a material conflict.
But that's, you have to do secret
There would still
then
need to
again
be
on the
material
change.
conflict. A
Right.
change in and of itself may not be in material conflict. And of course, we can agree to disagree.
Sure,
The
absolutely.
study
I think
itself-
when you go to adopt something later on, it will then
you
be a
have to-
type 1 action. It will create a
But you
material
have to
conflict.
look at it,
Right.
you have to,
You're absolutely
you have
right.
to look at it a second time. Rick, can you
You're
address?
absolutely right. Marty, you're absolutely right at that point.
Good day. The recommendation for type 2 came out of the planning department by Mr. Hall, and as Councilman Wooten, I think, read correctly, we look at the type 2 list in the state law, and it clearly says the data collection studies and the like are type 2 actions. I think we have to make a distinction between the actual data collection and studying and eventual implementation. But at this point, we do not know whether there's a material conflict or
Correct.
not because we don't have any conclusions yet. So
And
we
we will
stand
look
by
at
the
s-
type 2 decision on the collection, the data collection and the study that we're talking about this
And
afternoon.
then from there, you secret, and this is Marty, where I think that
If there
the
were
difference is-
implementation issues at the end of
That's
the
where
day,
secret-
that's where we'd have to make another secret decision. Mhm.
this is not that stage.
That's right.
I mean, in
It's
theory,
premature
you could
to
come
talk
back
about that.
with more uses. I mean, you could come back with no changes.
That's correct. We don't know yet. Mhm.
So,
So that's the opinion of the department.
okay, thank you. Does anybody else wish to be heard on resolutions? All right, not seeing anybody. Let's take up the resolutions, Diane.
Hi.
Resolution 511.
511, 2011 CHIPS Reconstruction Road Improvement Project. Budget adoption, so moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 512.
2011 IMPA Playground Capital Improvement Project and budget adoption. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 513.
Grants excavation permit as provided by Chapter 62 to Mativ Chaitin LLC. So moved.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded as amended before. You've got those amendments, Diane?
I do.
Yep.
Okay.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 514.
Determine schedule, sewer charges, Atlantis Holding Company project. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 515.
Authorize settlement with certain defendants in MTBE litigation. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 516.
Appoints a part-time crossing guard. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 517.
Appoints a call and detention attendant. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 517.
Appoints a call and detention attendant. So moved.
Moved.
Oh, no, that's 18.
518.
Same thing.
We did 517, right?
That was 518.
518.
I just called 518.
Jody has to, I'll second. So I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 519.
Ratifies the appointment of a temporary student intern. 1. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 520.
520 authorizes the town clerk to publish and post a notice of public hearing, special use permit petition of R&K Precision Auto Works Incorporated. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 521.
Authorization to publish advertising for janitorial supplies for the town of Riverhead. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 522.
Authorization to publish advertisement for signage services. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 523.
Appoints a call-in recreation bus driver to the Recreation Department. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 524.
Appoints a call-in assistant recreation leader to the Recreation Department. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 525.
Appoints a recreation specialist to the Recreation Department. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 526.
This ratifies an appointment for a summer recreation aide 1 to the Recreation Department. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 527.
Ratifies an appointment for a summer recreation aide 1 to the Recreation Department. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 528.
Ratifies the appointment of a recreation leader to the Riverhead Recreation Department. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 529.
Appoints a hearing officer. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Giglio.
No.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 530.
Appoints a call-in detention attendant. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 531.
Adopts a local law amending Chapter 52 entitled Building Construction of the Riverhead Town Code, Building Permit Fees. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 532.
532 authorizes the town clerk to publish and post public notice to consider a local law to amend Chapter 108 entitled Zoning, the Riverhead Town Code, Downtown Center 5, Residential DC5 Zoning Use District. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 533.
Ratifies the acceptance of 100% site plan security of 213 Court Street Realty. So moved.
And second, Jody?
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 534.
Authorizes the supervisor to execute a professional services agreement for a Route 25A corridor planning study.
Seconded.
So moved. Sorry.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Okay. I have reviewed the Wading River Hamlet study and the recommendations that are set forth therein. That was prepared by the same people and the same group that are studying it again. They have studied the 11792 zip code already in the Brookhaven study that was done from Mount Sinai to the Wading River line. I have listened to a Wading River resident who is an architect and site designer who told me he volunteered 600 hours of his time, along with many others who were dedicated to this study that took place in the late 80s. The zoning was adopted based on this study, yet the plan was never implemented. 15 years later, the hamlet was studied again with tremendous community input, and a plan was adopted in 2003. The zoning was changed again based on that study. We have ample information from the two previous studies that we should be looking at and should try to implement. It is my opinion that we should be looking at these previous studies in-house with community involvement and property owners and determine design standards and demanding responsible development of the hamlet as recommended to preserve the rural character of Wading River. Spending another $42,000 on a study at this time does not make sense to me, so I will vote no.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
It's been more than 22 years since the town of Riverhead took a hard look at development and zoning and its effects on this area of our town. This hamlet located within the town of Riverhead abuts Brookhaven, and more importantly, Brookhaven zoning and development. The town of Brookhaven zoning, not unlike Riverhead, has an adoption of a master plan in 2003, again, nearly 10 years ago, has undergone significant change in 22 years affecting planning and development in the town of Riverhead. It can hardly be contested when our neighboring town, the town of Brookhaven, saw it fit to conduct the study on the Route 25A corridor. In the past 10 years, residential and commercial development has changed the community. Some may say for the good, others may disagree. Neighborhoods, traffic, and even physical boundaries of this area of our town has been changed. The fact that this town board is willing to explore and study, educate ourselves on the effects of the existing development, current zoning, and potential development is simply our responsibility to Wading River and all of Riverhead. And remember, this is merely a study, so I vote yes.
Walter.
Jim, that was so eloquent and well said. I can't add anything. I agree with you wholeheartedly, and yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 535.
This is a resolution to provide non-pro-tunct authorization for the law firm of Campolo, Middleton, and McCormick LLP to defend, institute, or appear in legal action in the matter of William Gary Robinson versus Peter Troyan, CV 074846. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 536.
Do we have the attachment? This is the non-union employee.
Yes, I just saw it.
Right here.
That's
Catch.
actually the code of conduct.
Oh, yeah, I did have it. It was-
You had it?
Yeah, I had it.
That
No,
one
wait a minute.
should be on
That-
there.
Somehow
That's for
we
the
just
code of
didn't-
conduct.
Right.
This is a separate resolution.
Yep, yep. We have a different one, yeah.
There's
Okay,
two-
so
there's
that's
two
a
of them.
different.
This is for non-union.
This is the code of conduct.
No, there's an
Oh,
elevated
okay.
system of
Yep.
policy
This
and there's
is-
a code
Got
of
it.
conduct. There's
Okay.
two different
Two
resolutions.
So we're up to 536?
Yep.
536. Adopts Town of Riverhead automation systems policy for non-union employees.
And
So
there's a
moved.
typo there
There's a
that's
typo
now
there.
missed
Yeah, it should have been 2 weeks.
in the title. And
Sal
seconded.
missed that one.
Oh. Yeah. We all did.
Moved and seconded.
Did we move and second it?
It was,
Yes.
yes.
Did we? Yes,
Moved
okay.
and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
You would think with all the computers that the spell check, we wouldn't have anything. I vote yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 537.
537?
Yeah. That's okay. I know what it
You're
is.
moving it.
Okay. Awards bid for website redesign, commercial web hosting, high-capacity storage, municipal CMS LLC. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
No.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
IT was part of this. Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 538.
This ratifies and approves the Chapter 90 application of Martha Clara Vineyards LLC for May 26th through July 21, 2011. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 539.
Adopts Town of Riverhead Employee Code of Conduct. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please. That's the resolution we
Yes,
need.
that we wanted
Right,
attached.
I only have the one.
Yeah. I can get you one.
You have it attached to your resolution?
No, it just didn't get on there, but we have it.
Okay, okay. That's the,
We can't
Make sure
harass
you
them.
have
That's the latest, greatest
Make sure you
after
have
our
that.
work session.
okay.
Are we all set?
Yep.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted.
Guess I gotta behave myself now.
Resolution 540.
Authorizes the supervisor to execute an agreement with Cummins Allison Corporation regarding maintenance and service for a cash counter machine utilized by the Riverhead Town Tax Receiver. So moved.
I'll second.
Jody, you could take a break in those. You're losing your breath through that one. Come on, some commas, please. Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
This one sounds like it's driven by a diesel.
Yeah.
Cummins. Allison. Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 541.
Approves Chapter 90 application of the Riverhead Fire Department to conduct its annual motorized drill. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes, and that's going to be on Saturday,
weeks, yeah.
July 16th, between the hours of 8 a.m. and 12 midnight. Having a rain date of July 17th, 2011. And that's going to be at their fire training area, their newly acquired fire training area on Route 58.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 542.
Approves Chapter 90 application of Peconic Bay Medical Center Family Festival, August 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st, 2011. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 543.
Rescinds resolution number 1019 adopted on November 4th, 2009 regarding standard benefit package for non-union personnel. So moved.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 544.
It's amends Resolution 356 of 2011. It corrects the expiration date for the annual diesel generator maintenance for the Riverhead Water District. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 545.
Appoints member to the Riverhead Open Space Park Preserve Committee. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes, we'd like to thank Marjorie Acevedo for stepping up. Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 546.
Authorizes the town clerk to publish and
Table this
post a public notice to consider a local law to repeal and replace Article 26,
Sound like
Site
Coco.
Plan Review of Chapter 108 entitled Zoning of the Riverhead Town Code. So moved.
Are we going to table this one?
I'm going to table it.
Oh, we're tabling it.
Yeah,
Make
we're
a motion to
tabling it.
table
We're
it.
gonna table it.
Yes.
Yes, we got.
Thank you,
this.
George.
I will second the table.
Moved and seconded as the table.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
The resolution has been tabled. Resolution 547.
This authorizes the supervisor to execute an agreement with National Fire and Safety Solutions, Incorporated. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 548.
Water District Capital Project Budget Adjustment. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 549.
Awards bid for well and pump service for the Riverhead Water District. So moved.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 550.
Ratifies the approval of a Chapter 90 application of the Riverhead Business Improvement District Management Association for the cardboard boat races that occurred on June 26, 2011. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
I guess. Yes.
Walter.
I won it. Yes.
I would just say congratulations, Supervisor.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 551.
Authorize release of the security of J. Petroselli Contract Incorporated, and that's for Atlantis Marine World LLC, water key money. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 552.
Authorizes supervisor to execute contract amendment with the Deputy Water District Superintendent. So moved.
Moved and
I'll second it.
I'm sorry. Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 553.
Motion to pay bills. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted.
Absolutely. Okay, does anybody else wish to be heard on any other matter before the board? Or not before the board, but you'd just like to talk to us? Does that mean you're getting up, Larry? How you doing, Larry? Mr. Oxman, I'm sorry.
That's all right. Larry Oxman, with offices at 1747 Old Country Road, Riverhead. I guess before I get into the meat of it, we had two lovely events in the downtown these past couple of weekends. I was there for the fireworks, sponsored by the bid.
And your sons and their friend won one of the heats of the cardboard boat race.
That was the other event, also sponsored by the bid, the cardboard boat race. They were sponsored by the Long Island Science Center. And
that was some design. I'm sorry, I know you have something you want to talk about, but folks, you should have seen this design. And I was thinking, when George built me the boat last year, how to turn it into a catamaran, but I could not figure out how to bring the arms out. You did it. You figured out running it through the cardboard to give it the strength. Nice work, Mr.
We'll see a
Osmond.
few of those next year, I think.
That's why
Nice work.
That's why it's the science center.
Well, and it was really my kids and research, and we experimented with duct tape, and it was a great learning experience for them. It was a fun event for everyone, and we look forward to next year, bigger and better.
We do too.
On a different note, tomorrow I'm back in court in Southampton Town regarding the violations, the alleged violations on my property or my former property on Route 58. I say former because basically in May, as a result of a foreclosure action, I lost the property. The litigation basically made me unable to refinance it and to sell it. So we're back in court. As you know, it's in Southampton Justice Court because the judges in Riverhead had recused themselves some time ago. The original action was based on 50 or so alleged violations that the town issued back in 2004, October, almost 7 years ago. All those charges were dismissed by the judge. However, at the last moment, the town basically asked to withdraw those charges and issue 11 new charges. The judge didn't agree. The judge ruled and dismissed all of those charges. The town appealed that decision, and the appellate court felt that that the town was correct, and even at the last moment, the day that the judge was making her ruling, after everyone had submitted their papers, that the town still had the right to withdraw all 50 charges and start over with 11 new ones. That's back before the same judge that dismissed the 50 violations. We started going to trial on one charge. That was 9 months ago. Just one of the 11 new violations. 2 of the 11 violations were withdrawn by the town. Those charges were based on stop work orders that were issued by town attorney Dawn Thomas. Our attorney started to argue that she didn't have the authority to issue a stop work order. The town ended up withdrawing the violations. I assume because they felt that they couldn't win it. No one's been a nice guy here. Again, just one charge. We haven't begun the trial for the 8 additional charges that still are pending. Tomorrow in court, I'll face town attorney Bob Kosakovich. My legal firm will face Bob Kosakovich. And also,
again, I just have a question. It's the trustee, is it not, that we're battling now?
Oh, no. This is me personally.
Okay.
And then the remaining charges are against the corporation.
That's right. The town, at the time, the previous town board, not you guys, and the previous town board went after me personally, and after the corporation that was the owner of the property. So
it's just not appropriate. I mean, do you want to enter into settlement negotiations with the town?
No.
Okay, because
point.
this is not the right.
And I don't expect you to answer, because previously you were advised by counsel not to engage in conversations about the specifics of the lawsuit.
Well, I'm just wondering what the purpose, if settlement is.
I'll be there.
Okay.
So again, tomorrow I'm going to, the town is going to be represented by town attorney Bob Kosakovich, and also Phil Siegel, I guess, of Smith, Finkelstein, and several other names. So basically the town has 2 different, the town and a separate outside firm. That really basically got me to wondering just how much money and time the town has spent in the last 6+ years, since October 2004, pursuing all of the charges. I know how much I've spent. I know how many hours my attorneys have billed me. So on April 8th, 2011, I filed a simple FOIL request asking for an accounting on all the expenses and fees that the town has incurred pursuing the 50 violations. They dropped the violations, the 11 new violations, the Supreme Court action against me, and to defend my lawsuit against the town for $10 million in damages. So let me give you copies of the FOIL request that was logged in on April 8th of this year. To the benefit of the public, it says, I'm making a request, an itemized list of all expenses incurred by the town of Riverhead, including legal fees, printing, consultants, professional fees, and any other costs associated with all litigation, violations, depositions, and other actions between the town of Riverhead and Riverhead Park Corp. And/or Lawrence Oxman between October 2nd, 2004 and the current date. Again, this being dated 4/8/11. This includes both in-house counsel and outside counsel. If in-house counsel does not itemize expenses, then an accounting of the number of hours spent on the same. It's pretty clear. I've gotten no response from the town.
We'll get you a response.
None.
We'll get
You're supposed to give me a response within 5 days. That didn't happen. At court, our attorney spoke to your attorney. He assured us that it would happen. I've spoken to the town. Who's the FOIL officer? I'm sorry.
Bill Duffy now.
Bill Duffy. I met with Bill Duffy. Very nice guy. We had a nice talk. Nothing personal. He assured me that this was being taken care of, That was probably close to a month ago.
Do you know how much, aside from the issues, the underlying issues, do you know how much work this is to accomplish? And if he's working on it, this is a lot, Larry. This is not something that's going to happen in 30 days. This is.
I haven't received a response.
This is,
by default.
Well,
you've actually said that you're not doing it.
Larry, I will get you a response. I'm not personally even sure it's foilable. It may be. It may not be foilable. I don't know. We'll get you a response. But if we are working on this, this is volume. This potentially could be volumes, not volumes, but a lot of work to get this material. I'll get you a response. That's a simple answer. You will, Bob, make sure somebody by the end of the week gives them a response as to whether responding to it or not responding to it. There may be a simple answer to this. I don't know. We'll take care of it. I don't think it should take, you may not have all the data by the end of the week, but you'll have a response by the end of the week. You should have just picked up the phone. I would have done the same thing.
Well, when I met with Mr. Duffy, and I guess in May when our attorney spoke to your attorney, it seemed that everything was just on track, but nothing has come. I checked the mail today. I checked
Larry,
the answering machine. Still no
response.
response.
Because this is in litigation, I'm not sure, and again, I'm not playing lawyer here. I'm not sure whether this is foilable or discoverable. I'm not sure. So we will get you, if it's foilable, we'll get you that response. If it's discoverable, we'll get you that response. I don't know. We can, that's a and if we're working on it, we'll get you that response. It's a lot. 04, you're talking about 7 years worth of material, sir.
I know. I have a huge folder of all my bills. I can tell you exactly how much money I've spent. So yes, I know how I keep my house. So maybe you did. I mean, it's a tremendous amount of time that's gone in hours and expense. I appreciate that, Sean, Supervisor Walter. I know that you were challenged in the newspaper by a former supervisor about being open, and I hope that you can prove that person wrong. So.
I have no problem, Bob. Just make sure somebody gives them, foilable, not foilable, discoverable, and/or we're working on it. It's not a difficult thing to do. And then if we're working on it, we're obviously going to need some time to put it together.
Yeah, I mean, you're on your second outside counsel. You should know how much money you've spent. So,
One would think.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Larry. Mr. Bale. Sorry to put you on the spot.
Good afternoon. Sid Bale, President of the Wading River Civic Association. I'd like to, on behalf of the Civic Association, thank the board for moving forward with the study. I know there's been quite a bit of discussion, obviously, for the last 7 or 8 months. Personally, the firm that you've hired, BFJ, I think is a very good firm. We're working with them on the Brookhaven side and with many different communities, and I think they bring a lot to the table. And I know this is a big thing, and if I believed that it could have been done in-house and everything was already done, I would have kept my mouth shut for the last 8 months. But I think something good and positive can come out of this, not only for the groups who've been advocating this, but also for the community and for the property owners. And I realize they have rights as important stake in this. There are many stakeholders. So I thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can I ask you a question? Were you involved in the 1989 study that was done by the same group that's doing it?
I was president. I believe I was president when Lincoln was in there, but at the time.
I think you're right.
But I was president. But Joe Lynch was the president of the Civic Association at that time. John Heilbrunn was a part of it. Joe Baer, who's on the planning board right now. The architect that you speak of, that's probably Rick Searles. He was a part of it. And, but, it's like there were problems even way back then.
Right.
And one of the things was the amount of commercially zoned land along Route 25A. Even back then, It was sort of like the issue that they never could kind of wrap their arms around completely. We tried to do it in 2003, but, you know, that's why we're here.
Because I found very interesting in the plan, and I really liked the plan that was done in 1989, and I know that there was a lot of effort that went into it.
Yes.
And it appears that when the commercial zoning was adopted for the Wading River area, there was supposed to be a Main Street, Wading River, that would be one block, or the parcels that were the commercially zoned properties that were subdivided in 1983. Which
Well, there's
this,
still
the
provision.
89 study was a result of
Yeah.
the 83 subdivision that took place. And, you know, there was a road, a main street that was coming off of Route 25A to the south that would have been beautiful.
Right.
A roadway
Well,
with
there's still,
benches, with brick sidewalks, with lights, all the stores, the commercial zoning that was adopted after that plan was adopted, those stores were supposed to be looking in on Main Street, Wading River, which was off of Route 25A, and which would have had a direct path from all North Wading River right into this shopping center that was designed for the residents. And the fact that the town over the years didn't implement that plan, and money was spent, community involvement took place, hours and hours and hours, 600 hours, Rick Searles tells me, and that it was not implemented is very troubling to me.
Well, you know, I don't want to cast
that was
blame.
the fact that only one parcel actually dedicated land to river.
Yeah, I don't want to cast.
Yeah, and that the town actually even took property which would have been part of this road, which after all the development, if we don't implement that plan, then we landlocked ourselves in the town of Riverhead to the little strip of land that we bought to build the
obviously
road.
be one of the things that BFJ would be looking at.
That's right, we're having money.
Yeah, so anyway, I like the plan in 1989, and I think that 2003, when that came about, they took all the considerations of the 1989 plan, and then they tweaked the zoning a little bit more to make it a little bit more restrictive. And, you know, here we are again in 2011 revisiting the zoning once again.
The original
So.
concept that you're talking about, we were talking about people who played a part, the late Rob Pike. That was one of the things that he kind of like pushed that particular idea.
But I think the design standards and the appeal and the aesthetics, and I think that the traffic is the main concern. And you know what? I think it would be great to get the traffic off of 25A.
Well, I you know, the focus, you know, I think like BFJ, the impact upon the community, upon existing businesses, you know, I think is part of it as well. It's a, you know, a cumulative impact is broader than just traffic. I think that's one thing we might disagree on. Okay.
Thank
I respect your
you. Likewise.
Thank you, Sid. Mr. Mastropolo.
The fireworks were great. The boardwalk is beautiful. Unfortunately, nobody went out there before the fireworks started and hosed off the boardwalk, so you had to tiptoe through the bird droppings. And if you walked on the grass, you had to tiptoe through the dog droppings. I think we need to put up some signs that you must curb your dog, and if there's a fine associated with it, we should police it and issue fines. Either that or prohibit dogs from that park area.
Well, they are prohibited
They are
from every
prohibited.
park.
Are you sure they were dog droppings?
Yes, definitely.
And the
I was
geese.
there
In the
I
grass.
was there the day before. I know, there's some pretty big geese out there.
I have a feeling Sal, we're not allowed to hose it off, not into the river anyway.
Well, something's got to be done.
I don't disagree with you, but
Everything was great with the exception of that.
Almost positive. We're trying to give you that, everybody, that rural hometown farming feel.
You know what we joked? We joked that if Monk was there, he'd never get any place.
No.
Oh, God.
Well, we're glad
Okay.
you had a good time. You bring your wife out?
Yeah.
Good.
We brought friends too, and they enjoyed it.
You see the Brady Reimer part of the concert?
No, we just sat and listened to the music and watched the fireworks.
Did you stay for the rock and roll review afterwards?
No.
Oh, man.
Okay. Sounded just like Neil Diamond.
Can you give the town an update on the quote EBCAL ball fields? I noticed we're still not using them. It's got to be what, 3 or 4 years now?
The contract, the contract was let for the town, I think it's is it Corzini, the one
Corzini's
that's
got it.
getting it?
Right.
And I'm going to say that we were stymied a little bit because our deputy town engineer left, so a large portion of what she did, actually, that job was 100% hers. We've had to put in other people because we have not been able to find a replacement. We put in other people, including Rayner Associates, to continue moving that project forward. I believe we're on track to start the line striping. Sal, we're moving it. I mean, our goal is to at least try to get it open for the fall baseball, soccer.
We were told within 2 weeks they'd start the striping.
Okay.
Get the gates open.
But it is a personnel issue within the town that, we lost a key staff member.
Okay. Where do we stand relative to a movie theater coming to Riverhead? Is that planned still for Railroad Avenue?
No.
Is that still an opportunity, or is that dead?
What's that? What?
The movie theater, I'm receiving encouraging news. I'm dealing with, there was 2 movie companies, is now 1 movie company. It's not a secret, it's Regal Cinemas. They've asked us to do certain things. We've met all of their price points, different sizes, number of seating, parking, everything they've asked us to do, we've been able to meet. It's now a question of coordinating a meeting with them because the gentleman who sites the theaters is in Denver. And from what I understand, if you don't deal with this gentleman, you don't get a Regal Cinema. And we're trying to coordinate him coming to the town of Riverhead. I'm cautiously optimistic. As with everybody, they say, well, we want to be on Route 58, but movies are not allowed on Route 58. Sal, I've done everything that I possibly can to bring them here, and I'm going to continue to do so. I have received in the not too recently very positive news, and I've enlisted the help of several high-power, influential, very well-to-do business owners to help us with our quest to get Regal here. And you know what, Sal, keep your fingers crossed, pray, do whatever it takes, and I think it's going to happen, but there's no guarantees.
Okay, I have a question. Now that you rescinded the standard benefits package, what are you going to use in the interim to manage the business if you don't have that resolution? Do you need to write a new resolution, or what's the plan of the board to manage personnel without the benefits package?
It's not a great plan, but because we have no money and we are trying to wean our way off our reserve fund expenditures, nobody got a raise this year, and we haven't really gotten to the point where we've started discussing any additional raises for next year. So it is going to be a review. My office is going to have to start reviewing the department heads, and the department heads are going to have to review their staff, and it is something we will start.
Okay.
I had the same question before the town board meeting today. What benefits package are we adopting?
Right.
And it made more sense to me to say, okay, you know what, we're cutting back. We're not going to give certain employees 100% benefits. We're not going to start you out at 3 weeks. We're going to start you out at 2 weeks, which we've done by resolution in hiring middle management. So, we've actually cut back on the vacation time where it says you start out at 3 weeks. We're saying you start out at 2 weeks. So we were in conflict with that resolution that was adopted before we got here.
Yeah.
A lot of us anyway.
Well,
so.
I thought the standard package that you just rescinded was very, very generous.
Very.
I agree.
Particularly compared to private industry. I mean, it was overly generous.
Yes. So
Okay.
Don't disagree, Sal.
we're moving in
That's
a
why
different direction.
That's why it was rescinded.
Okay. Question. What is town code relative to the use of tents? I mean, is there a limit to the amount of time that you can have a tent up?
Chapter 90. It's by Chapter 90
Yeah,
application.
but what about back-to-back Chapter 90s?
Well, that's
There.
the loophole.
Okay, because I noticed that you had a resolution in here for Martha Clara, Chapter 90, from May 26th to July 21st.
No, I got another one.
Huh?
6 weeks at a time. Yeah.
And oh, by the way, you have a special events, Martha Clara Vineyards tent, July 22nd, which happens to be the day after the first one ends,
Right.
to September 23rd.
This is the second year they did that. Actually, I know there's some law that Dawn's working on, probably Bob has it now. We're
Chapter
looking,
90 was looking at change.
we're looking at annual tent permits and stuff like that. I know there's some legislation being drafted now to try to address that issue, but right now there is a loophole in that chapter 90 for that. It's really called an overflow tent is what it really is. But it still has to be inspected and it has to be, up to fire code.
What's interesting is at Indian Island, okay, when prior to the current restaurant owner, okay, he used to put up tents every so often, but he used to take them down, and then he may have them down for a week or two, put it up again. I'm just wondering, is Martha Clara taking it down?
No.
So they're carrying it over.
It's very costly. I mean, if you don't own a tent and you want to put one up, it's like $1,500 a pop. So if you own it, you want to keep it up as long as you can. And obviously, they have the fire marshal that goes out and inspects to make sure that they have the exit lights and that they don't have extension cords going to the exit lights and that they have fire sprinklers in some of them, depending on how large
It's
they
an
are.
open tent,
So,
mind you. You need exit lights.
Well,
yeah.
I'm getting out of there.
I think that's one area that you really need to look at because, I mean, there are some businesses in town that have, quote, tents up 12 months a year.
Mhm.
Okay? And when you're inside, it almost looks like it's a finished dining room when it's not.
You're right.
And move in.
There's a problem.
Thank you, Sal. Does anybody else wish to be heard? No? Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Seconded. All votes.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Thank you for coming, everyone. Safe home.
If you have to do that, you would have to do that.
To adjourn the meeting? Yeah. How do you adjourn the meeting?